Let's talk about Pete Buttigieg. He was on The Daily Show last night, and Trevor Noah, the host, asked him about white male privilege. I want to play a bit of what he had to say.
One of the things about privilege, especially things like white privilege or male privilege, is that you don't think about it very much. It's being in an out-group where you are constantly reminded of it. It's not when you're in a majority or a privileged group. And so I try to check myself and make sure I try to understand the factors that help explain why things are going well. And I do think it's simply harder for candidates of color or for female candidates, and I'm very mindful of that. The only thing I know how to do about that from where I'm sitting is to try to be true to a message and a vision that's meaningful and to be as respectful as I can of the others. I don't view myself as having opponents, but competitors.
So privilege obviously is a major discussion topic among Democratic voters. How much of an issue is the subject of race going into this election?
I'd say it's a major topic of issue among some Democratic voters, younger and minority voters. What he says there, and remember he's 37, is reflective of something that came up in one of those voter discussions we had last year during the midterm elections. I was in Vegas sitting with 4 people, one of them a young white guy in his 30s who went on a similar screed. He said, look, I'm a white guy. I know that I've got a lot of advantages in my life. A lot of things are in my favor just by virtue of who I am. And it was striking everyone else at the table, including myself, that he went there. So Buttigieg, I think it's a generational thing for white men. And I think he's far more comfortable talking about something like that than some of the older white guys in the race, frankly, because they're more aware of it.
He's aware of it.
Well, he's aware of it because I think it is a generational conversation as much as it is a racial or gender conversation.
And I wonder if there's something to being a gay American as well, that, you know, you are part of a minority group, but you happen to be a white male too. So, you know, if you choose, people don't have to know that you're part of that minority group. He's chosen differently, so he sort of exists in both worlds.
And it's been written about that, you know, we wouldn't be paying attention to him if he were a gay black candidate or a gay female candidate, like just because he's the white guy in the race who also happens to be an Oxford and Harvard grad and went to the, you know, served in Afghanistan. He has a lot of built-in advantages, and he's acknowledged that. And again, I think that is almost a code to younger people who are far more aware of this stuff than maybe their parents and their grandparents, because it's a conversation we're all having at the office among friends all the time. It's brilliant for him strategically to continue talking about it, because it just bolsters that appeal that I think a lot of people have. Also, not for nothing, he knows he's got to build up support among Latino and black voters if he has any hope of getting this thing.
You know, Ed, you've been talking to voters across the country, and there is now starting to be a little of that pushback, right? Look, this guy has come out of nowhere. He's got a very savvy media consultant, Liz Smith, who was a contributor here at CBS News. Mayor Buttigieg came here very early before he declared his candidacy. And a lot of people are saying, look, it's really great that he's out there, but there's a bit of a media maelstrom that has created this persona. Do you agree with that, or are you hearing from voters who say they really like him?
I think it's fair to say that of the 23 presidential candidates, probably at least 15 of them are going to have similar boomlets, where they get attention.
Right. I mean, we were talking about O'Rourke before.
Right, but the question is, and O'Rourke has struggled with this, how do you maximize your boomlet and make it a boom? And so far, Buttigieg has done a very good job of that. He's maintained it. There was fundraising behind it. He's now vaulted into essentially the top 5, depending on the survey you look at. Some who suddenly get that attention don't know how to manage it, can't staff it, can't scale it. And so far, at least, he's shown that he can. Question is, when it happens to whoever else, will they be able to maximize that moment? And if it happens closer to caucus day or primary day, does that help vault them suddenly into the top tier when they weren't there before? That's happened before.
I think you need to copyright boomlet, by the way.
That's a great word.
Boomlet. Somebody else does.
I love it.
Ed, thank you so much.
It's not a boom, it's like a
boomlet.
Boomlet.